Today, we'll delve into a profound and transformative topic, faith and fortune in the human faculty. We'll explore Chapter 14, which deals with spiritual circumcision, a concept that goes far beyond the physical act and takes us into the mysteries of our true nature. Circumcision, in its highest sense, is an operation that removes the part that conceals the head of creation. The physical act has nothing to do with the spiritual act. The entire world could be physically circumcised and would undoubtedly continue to be impure, like a blind person leading others who are blind. But here, those who are spiritually circumcised lose the veil of darkness and perceive that they are Christ, the light of the world. This act is symbolically performed on the 8th day of birth, not because it's a special day or different from other days, but because 8 is the symbolic representation of infinity. The secret of the operation on the 8th day is in accordance with the nature of the act itself, which is to reveal the internal head of creation, that immutable thing in which everything begins and ends, and which undoubtedly remains eternal when everything else ceases to exist. At this moment, you are aware of existing, but you are also aware of being someone. That someone is the veil that hides your true being. First and foremost, you are aware of existing, then you become aware of being a person. And when the veil of that person is placed over your faceless and formless being, you become aware of your members, of a certain race, nation, family, creed, and many other definitions. The veil that must be lifted or removed in spiritual circumcision is the veil of the person you believe yourself to be. But for this, you must first remove your identifications with race, family, and everything else. As it says in Colossians 3 verse 11, in Christ there is no Greek or Jew, slave or free, male or female. Jesus said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple." Luke 14 verse 26. To reach Christ, you have to abandon those identities you use, such as son, husband, or brother. The difference is what separates you from these identities. Feeling is what unites you. When you can see humanity as one great family without distinctions of race or creed, then you will have the certainty that you have moved away from that limited identity. Reaching this level of understanding, the only thing left to separate you from your true self is the belief that you are John, Joseph, Mary, or Anna, whatever person you believe yourself to be. To remove this last veil, you must abandon the idea that you are a person, accepting that you simply exist beyond a face or form. You are spiritually circumcised when you abandon the consciousness of being a human being and your unconditioned consciousness is revealed as the eternal head of creation, a formless and faceless presence that knows all things. Then, without a veil and with eyes wide open, you will declare with conviction, "I am God and beyond me, this consciousness of being, there is nothing else and no other God." This mystery is symbolized in the Bible when Jesus washes the feet of his disciples. It is written that Jesus took off his clothes and covered himself with a towel, and after washing the disciples' feet, he dried them with the towel that covered him. Peter protested because he didn't want his feet to be washed, and then he was told that without this, he would have no part with Jesus. Upon hearing this, Peter responded, "Lord, not just my feet but my hands and my head as well." To which Jesus replied, "Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet, their whole body is clean." John 13 verses 9 to 10. Common sense tells us that a person does not have their whole body clean just because they wash their feet. Thus, we either ignore this story or seek its hidden meaning. All stories in the Bible are psychological dramas that occur in human consciousness, and this story is no exception. This washing of the disciples' feet is a mystical story of spiritual circumcision. It is the revelation of the secrets of the Lord. Jesus, who is called the Lord, has said that the name of the Lord is I am. I am the Lord, that is my name, Isaiah 42 verse 8. The story tells that Jesus was naked except for a towel that covered his parts, the secrets. Jesus, the Lord, symbolizes our consciousness of being, which has secrets hidden by the towel, the consciousness of the person. The foot symbolizes the understanding that the Lord must wash to eliminate all human beliefs and ideas about oneself. And when the towel is removed to dry the feet, the secrets of the Lord are revealed. In short, the act of removing the belief that we are a person allows us to see the head of creation, the origin of everything. If the person is the foreskin that hides the head of creation, then spiritual circumcision is the act of removing that limited identity to reveal our true divine nature. Dear viewers, do you realize the depth of this concept? We're not talking about changing who we are, but discovering who we really are. It's a process of unveiling, of removing layers of identity that we have accumulated throughout our life. Think for a moment about all the labels you have put on yourself or that society has imposed on you. Son, daughter, student, professional, husband, wife, father, mother, young, old, rich, poor. The list is endless. Each of these labels, although useful in certain contexts, also limits our perception of who we really are. Spiritual circumcision invites us to go beyond these labels, to strip ourselves of these limiting identities to discover our true essence. It's a process of liberation, of expanding consciousness. But how can we apply this in our daily lives? How can we begin this process of spiritual circumcision? First, we must cultivate awareness. Observe your thoughts, your reactions, your judgments. Notice how you identify with certain labels and roles. Don't judge yourself for it, simply observe. Second, question these identifications. Ask yourself, am I really this label? Is this all I am? Start to see these identities as roles you play, not as your true essence. Third, practice meditation and contemplation. These are powerful instruments for quieting the mind and connecting with our deeper being. In the silence of meditation, we can experience our true nature beyond labels and identities. Fourth, cultivate universal love and compassion. When we begin to see beyond labels and differences, we realize our fundamental unity with all humanity. This helps us let go of limiting identifications and expand our consciousness. Fifth, practice self-inquiry. Constantly ask yourself, who am I really? Don't settle for superficial answers. Go deeper. Explore. Question every belief you have about yourself. Remember, this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, perseverance, and a good dose of courage. Because, let's be honest, it can be scary to let go of the identities we've been comfortable with for so long. But I promise you the journey is worth it. Because on the other side of this process of spiritual circumcision is freedom. The freedom to be who you really are, without limitations, without fears, without conditioning. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you weren't limited by any label or identity. How would you act? How would you relate to others? What possibilities would open up before you? This is the transformative power of spiritual circumcision. It's not just an abstract philosophical or spiritual concept. It's a practical tool for liberation and personal realization. And here's the most exciting part, this process not only benefits you. By freeing yourself from the limitations of personal identity, you become a beacon of light for others. Your very presence inspires others to awaken to their true nature. So I invite you to embark on this journey of self-discovery. To have the courage to look beyond appearances, beyond labels, beyond everything you have believed yourself to be until now. Because at the core of your being, beyond all veils and identities, is the truth of who you really are. And that truth, once discovered, has the power to transform not only your life, but the entire world. Remember Jesus' words, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8 verse 32. The truth of who you really are is the key to your freedom. And that freedom is your divine birthright. So go ahead, dear viewers. Dare to question, to explore, to discover. Dare to be who you really are. Because in that truth, in that authenticity, lies the power to create the life of your dreams and to contribute to the awakening of humanity. Spiritual circumcision is your invitation to freedom, to fullness, to the realization of your true potential. Will you accept this invitation? The choice is yours. And in that choice lies all your power. Thank you for joining me in this deep exploration of our being. May your lives be filled with light, love, and truth. Until our next encounter, stay awake, stay curious, stay authentic. the universe is waiting for you to shine in all your splendor. Until next time. To further enhance our understanding and application of spiritual circumcision, let's explore 2 additional subtopics that are closely related to the core message. The role of surrender in spiritual circumcision. While we've discussed the importance of questioning and letting go of our identifications, it's crucial to delve deeper into the concept of surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood as giving up or being passive, but in the context of spiritual growth, it's a powerful act of releasing control and trusting in a higher wisdom. In the process of spiritual circumcision, surrender plays a vital role. It's about letting go of our need to control our identity, our life circumstances, and our spiritual journey itself. This surrender allows us to open ourselves to the truth of who we really are, beyond all the identities we've constructed. Here are some ways to practice surrender in your spiritual journey. Accept what is. Instead of resisting your current circumstances or aspects of yourself, practice accepting them fully. This doesn't mean you can't work towards change, but acceptance is the first step towards transformation. Let go of outcomes. While it's natural to have goals and desires, practice releasing your attachment to specific outcomes. Trust that the universe, or God, or your higher self, has a plan that may be greater than what you can envision. Trust the process. The journey of spiritual circumcision can be challenging and sometimes confusing. Trust that even the difficult moments are part of your growth and awakening. Practice presence. Instead of constantly trying to become something or someone, practice being fully present in each moment. This presence allows you to experience your true nature beyond all identifications. Cultivate faith. Develop a deep faith in the inherent goodness of life and in your own divine nature. This faith can sustain you through the process of letting go of old identities. Remember, surrender is not about giving up your power, but about aligning with a greater power. It's about recognizing that your true self is far more vast and magnificent than any limited identity you've been holding on to. The integration of spiritual circumcision in daily life. While spiritual circumcision is a profound concept, it's important to understand how to integrate it into our daily lives. This isn't just about having moments of spiritual insight, but about living from this understanding consistently. Here are some practical ways to integrate spiritual circumcision into your daily life. Mindful self-observation. Throughout your day, practice observing your thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. Notice when you're identifying strongly with a particular role or label. Conscious language. Pay attention to how you speak about yourself. Try to catch yourself when you use limiting self-definitions and consciously choose more expansive ways of expressing who you are. Regular self-inquiry. Set aside time each day for self-inquiry. Ask yourself questions like, who am I beyond my roles and responsibilities, or what remains when I let go of all my identifications? Act from essence. In your interactions and decisions, try to act from your essence rather than from a particular identity. What would you do if you weren't constrained by your usual self-definitions? Embrace change. Be willing to let go of habits, relationships, or situations that reinforce limiting identities. Embrace change as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Practice non-attachment. While fulfilling your various roles in life, practice non-attachment to these roles. Recognize that they are functions you perform, not who you essentially are. Cultivate wonder. Approach each day with a sense of wonder and openness, as if you're experiencing everything for the first time. This beginner's mind can help you see beyond your habitual perceptions and identifications. By integrating these practices into your daily life, you can gradually shift from living as a limited, conditioned identity to living as your true, unconditioned self. This is the essence of spiritual circumcision, not just understanding it intellectually, but embodying it in your moment-to-moment existence. Remember, this is a lifelong journey. There may be moments of profound realization and moments of falling back into old patterns. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Each moment of awareness, each act of letting go, is a step on the path of awakening. As you continue on this journey of spiritual circumcision, you may find that your entire perception of life shifts. You may experience a greater sense of freedom, peace, and connection with all of life. You may find yourself naturally embodying more love, compassion, and wisdom. And perhaps most importantly, you may discover a deep sense of being at home in yourself and in the universe. For when we realize our true nature beyond all veils and identifications, we recognize that we are not separate from the divine source of all existence. We are that source, expressing itself in a unique and beautiful way through our individual lives. So I encourage you to embrace this journey of spiritual circumcision with all your heart. It's a path of liberation, of awakening, of coming home to who you truly are. And in that awakening lies the potential for not just personal transformation, but for the healing and evolution of our entire world. Thank you for joining me on this profound exploration. May your journey of spiritual circumcision lead you to the deepest truth of your being, and may that truth illuminate your life and our world with its radiant light. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay courageous, and keep unveiling the magnificent truth of who you really are. Namaste.